Namaste, and welcome to Tridevi Chamunda Mandir in Denver, Colorado. I'm Yamajit, and so glad you could join us this evening. And again, for anybody who is going to be watching this, thank you for your patience, for finding the recording and watching it. We're having some more technical difficulties with doing YouTube Live. So tonight is part 12 of our Kali Nityas goddess series, the goddess Balaka. Before I begin, I'd like to share a couple of announcements. So this coming Tuesday at 7 o'clock, either live on YouTube or in person at our temple, we'll be doing the second part of our series on the Yoga Upanishads discussion and practices. And Tuesday we'll be featuring the Amrita Bindu Upanishad. Amrita is the divine essence. The Bindu is the center, so it's referring to the third eye, or Agni Chakra. And I think you'll find this really interesting because it's going to discuss a lot of meditation and pranayama practices. And then next Friday at 7 o'clock, we'll be doing our monthly Yoga Nidra meditation. I'd like to make a couple of shout-outs, too, to a couple of fellow travelers. One is an English scholar named Mike McGee, and his website, shivashakti.com. In fact, his article on the Kali Nityas was one of the primary sources for this series. His website is just a gold mine of information. If you're interested in Indian goddess worship, in Tantra, there's just a tremendous amount of information that you can gain from that site. And then someone else I'd like to give a shout out to is Naya Petrinos. She has a YouTube channel, and she has been doing her own Kali Nityas series, focusing on the symbolism for the 15 Kali Nityas and also other lunar goddesses. She also has on her channel some yoga and pranayama practices, some yoga nidras, and lunar meditations, especially again on goddesses associated with the moon. To access her Kali Nityas broadcasts, I found the easiest way to do that is to go on the YouTube browser, type the name of the Nitya goddess, so for example Balaka, B-A-L-A-K-A, and then just type the word symbols after that, and that'll take you right to that recorded broadcast. So I highly encourage you to explore her materials and make comparisons with what I've been presenting as well. So let's start out with our Satsang, Kali Nityas, Part 12. So the Kali Nityas are a collection of 15 goddesses who are different aspects of Kali Ma, and if you look at the accompanying YouTube PowerPoint video, you'll see these same slides that I'm reading from and discussing. I've seen a couple of people have already looked at that. They're associated with the 15 nights of the waning lunar cycle. So basically from the full moon to the new moon. And the 12th of the Kali Nitya goddesses is the goddess Balaka. We see her seated with a sword and a skull cup. So as the 12th goddess, she represents the 12th night from the full moon. So the moon is starting to appear just like a little sliver. And her name means dream of night. A beautiful name. And so her yantra is identical with the yantra for the previous goddess that we discussed at the end of July. So her spiritual diagram has a 6-pointed star surrounded by 8 red lotus petals. And the 6-pointed star symbolizes, for one thing, the uniting of masculine Shiva and feminine Shakti polarities. And then the 6 points of the star represent a concept known as the 6 limbs. And these are aspects of Vedic study. So this would include studies of phonetics, of rhyme and meter, of grammar, etymology, ritual instruction, and also astrology, because there's planetary energies associated with the study of the ancient scriptures, the Vedas. The 8 lotus petals, like with the other goddesses we've discussed, represent the Ashtamatrika, or the 8 little mother goddesses: Brahmani, Maheshwari, Kumari, Vaishnavi, Varahi, Indriyani, Chamunda, and Narashini, as well as their masculine consorts. And then the Bapura, the 4-gate enclosure surrounding the lotus petals, are dwelling within that are 8 directional deities called the Impalas, and these would include the storm god Indra in the east, Agni, the fire god, in the southeast, Yama, the lord of death, in the south, Niruti, a goddess who protects us during difficult times, in the southwest, Varuna, the sky god, in the west, Vayu, the lord of the winds, in the northwest, Kubera, the god of wealth, in the north, and Ishana, a form of Shiva, in the northeast. So something we'll be focusing on during our meditation while we're chanting the mantras during our fire puja. Her meditational visualization is we see her with 4 arms, 3 eyes. She is intoxicated with wine. She wears a garland of skulls. She is naked, formidable, with rising, swelling breasts, holding a sword and a head in her left hands, and a skull bowl and a threatening finger gesture in her right hands. And it is said that she is seated upon a fortress of skulls, and she is like 10 million fires of dissolution of suns. So, discussing her symbolism, wine or alcohol, known as madhya in Sanskrit, is associated with the fire element. Fire is itself an element of action and transformation, and the intoxication refers to the altered states of consciousness that are produced through meditation. And the fire can also be the fire of the third eye. When your eyes are closed and your gaze is turned slightly upwards, you see light patterns, and that's something that you can focus on during meditation. And doing that stimulates the pineal gland and just that wonderful natural pharmacy within our nervous system. Her nudity is associated with the very tantric concept of going against accepted conventions. And also, if she's nude or sky-clad, the universe itself is her garment. She's connected to everything. Her full breasts represent fertility, sensuality, and being nurtured and nurturing. her three eyes, consciousness in this realm and beyond. And then her threatening gesture. How many times has your mother done this or a teacher done this to you? It's called Tarjani Mudra. This is a mudra or a gesture of threat, of warning. The extended index finger is pointed toward an opponent, and that opponent is our inner demons, those things within our psyche that distract us from our true potential. As we've mentioned before, the sword is associated with cutting away ego-related attachments, and those attachments are symbolized by the severed head. And then her sitting on a skull throne. I found this lovely illustration that you'll also see in the slideshow. And this represents transcending our greatest fear, and that is the fear of death. Her skull necklace are the 50 letters of the Sanskrit alphabet, plus the power of both word and mantra. And that brings us to her mantra that we'll be doing 54 times during the fire ceremony. Om Krim Hum Hrim Balaka Kali Ati Abhyute Parakrama Apista Siddhim Medehi Hum Fat Svaha. Om Krim Hum Hrim Balaka Kali Ati Abhyute Parakrame Apista Siddhim Medehi Hum Fat Svaha. Om is the creative consciousness of the universe. Krim, the Bij mantra, the seed mantra of Ma Kali, the power of Ma Kali. Hum is the protective power of the Divine Mother. Bat, the deity's destructive power. It's kind of like saying crack or boom or pow, like in the Batman comics. Svaha, which is used in a lot of fire puja mantras, roughly translates to I am one with the divine. And then this section of the mantra, Ati Abhyute Parakrama Abhista Siddhim Me Dehi, translates to mistress of extreme perfection and provider of the highest practices. And that's really her function right there in a nutshell. So we'll be doing the usual cleansing and invocations and 5 element puja offerings, and then we will light our fire, and then I'm going to invite you to meditate in a place of stillness and silence. Visualize her form and just let the energies and the sounds of the mantra carry your consciousness to where it needs to go at this time. So I invite you now to find a comfortable seated position. Close your eyes and breathe deeply. Letting go of the concerns of the day and the concerns of tomorrow. Giving this time for yourself, a time for healing, a time for learning and growth, and a time for coming closer to the Divine Mother. Feels right, I invite you to express a short intention silently to yourself for our puja tonight. something within your own life that's in need of resolution, or in the life of somebody who is close to you. And then slowly bringing the palms of your hands together at your heart center. And we'll open our practice by chanting single syllable Om. Inhale. Pavitra Pavitrova Sarvavastam Gatopiva Yashmade Pandarikaksham Sabya Bhyanta Sushi. Om Pavitra Pavitrova Sarvavastam Gatopiva Yashmade Pandarikaksham Sabya Bhyanta Sushi. Om Pavitra Pavitrova Sarvavastam Gatopiva Yashmade Pandarikaksham Sabya Bhyanta Sushi. Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprama Nirvignam Kurumudeva Sabakaryam Siddhe. Jai Ganesha.
Jai Ganesha.
Om Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshvara Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Sri Guruve Namah. Jai Guru.
Jai Guru.
Om Trayambakam Yajamae Sagandim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukam Bandhanan Mrityur Mukshiyam Amrita. Om Namah Shivaya.
Om Namah Shivaya.
Devi Prapanote Hare Prasida Prasida Matara Jagata Kilasya Prasida Vishve Sparepe Vishvam Tvami Shura Devi Chachara Charasya. Jema Devi.
Jai Ma Devi.
Kapuragodam Karunavataram Samsara Sadam Bhujagendra Haram Sada Santamrita Yadavinde Vivam Bivani Saitam Namami Devi Prapanote Hare Prasida Prasida Matara Jagata Kilasya Prasida Vishvesvara Pe Vishvam Tvamishora Devi Chachara Charasya Om Agni Jyotir Jyotiagnir Sva Agni Jyotir Jyotiagnir Sva Agni Jyotir Jyotiagnir Sva. It's so good to see you. So I invite you now to sit in a comfortable position and close your eyes and breathe deeply. Focusing on your third eye center. And just before your forehead, just in front, envision a dark void, the infinite void of space, a place known as Chitakasha. And focusing out into space, you begin to see a shape materializing in front of you. It is the form of Ma Kali Balaka. A form of Ma Kali. She has 4 arms. Upon her face you see 3 eyes, and she is laughing, intoxicated with wine. She's wearing a necklace of skulls, and she's naked, formidable, with rising, swelling breasts. She holds a sword and a severed head of a demon in her left hands, and a skull bowl and a pointing finger gesture in her right hands. She is seated upon a throne of skulls, and she is bright, surrounded by light, like 10 million fires of 10 million suns. I invite you to focus upon her form as we give our fire offerings and chant her mantra. And just let the sound of the mantra and its energies carry your consciousness where it needs to be at this moment. Jai Ma Kali Balaka. Jai Ma Kali Balaka. Jai Ma Kali Balaka. Om Krim Hum Hrim Balaka Kali Ati Abhyute Parakrama Bistaside Mede Hum Fat Sva. Om Krim Om Hrim Balaka Kali Ati Abhyute Parakrama Bistaside Mede Hum Fat Sva. Om Krim Om Rim Balaka Kali Ati Abhyute Parakrame Abhista Siddhim Medehi Hum Fat Sva. Om Om Krim Om Rim Balaka Kali Adi Abhyute Parikrama Bista Siddhim Medehi Om Fat Sva. Om Krim Om Rim Balaka Kali Ati Abhyute Parikrame Abista Siddhim Medehi Om Fat Sva. Om Krim Om Rim Balaka Kali Ati Abhyute Parikrama Bista Siddhim Medehi Om Fat Sva. Om Krim Om Rim Balaka Kali Ati Abhyute Parikrama Bista Siddhim Medehi Om Fat Sva. Om Krim Om Rim Balaka Kali Ati Abhyute Parikrama Bista Siddhim Medehi Om Fat Sva. Om Krim Om Rim Balaka Kali Ati Abhyute Parikrama Bista Siddhim Medehi Om Fat Sva. Om Krim Om Rim Balaka Kali Ati Abhyute Parikrama Bista Siddhim Medehi Om Fat Sva. Om Krim Om Rim Balaka Kali Ati Abhyute Parikrama Bista Siddhim Medehi Om Fat Sva. Om Krim Om Rim Balaka Kali Ati Abhyute Parikrama Bista Siddhim Medehi Om Fat Sva. Om Krim Om Rim Balaka Kali Ati Abhyute Parikrama Bista Siddhim Medehi Om Fat Sva. Om Krim Om Rim Balaka Kali Ati Abhyute Parikrama Bista Siddhim Medehi Om Fat Sva. Om Krim Om Rim Balaka Kali Ati Abhyute Parikrama Bista Siddhim Medehi Om Fat Sva. Om Krim Om Rim Balaka Kali Ati Abhyute Parikrama Bista Siddhim Medehi Om Fat Sva. Om Krim Om Rim Balaka Kali Ati Abhyute Parikrama Bista Siddhim Medehi Om Fat Sva. Om Krim Om Rim Balaka Kali Ati Abhyute Parikrama Bista Siddhim Medehi Om Fat Sva. Om Krim Om Rim Balaka Kali Ati Abhyute Parikrama Bista Siddhim Medehi Om Fat Sva. Om Krim Om Rim Balaka Kali Ati Abhyute Parikrama Bista Siddhim Medehi Om Fat Sva. Om Krim Om Rim Balaka Kali Ati Abhyute Parikrama Bista Siddhim Medehi Om Fat Sva. Om Krim Om Rim Balaka Kali Ati Abhyute Parikrama Bista Siddhim Medehi Om Fat Sva. Om Krim Om Rim Balaka Kali Ati Abhyute Parikrama Bista Siddhim Medehi Om Fat Sva. Om Krim Om Rim Balaka Kali Ati Abhyute Parikrama Bista Siddhim Medehi Om Fat Sva. Om Krim Om Rim Balaka Kali Ati Abhyute Parikrama Bista Siddhim Medehi Om Fat Sva. Om Krim Om Rim Balaka Kali Ati Abhyute Parikrama Bista Siddhim Medehi Om Fat Sva. Om Krim Om Rim Balaka Kali Ati Abhyute Parikrama Bista Siddhim Medehi Om Fat Sva. Om Krim Om Rim Balaka Kali Ati Abhyute Parikrama Bista Siddhim Medehi Om Fat Sva. Om Krim Om Rim Balaka Kali Ati Abhyute Parikrama Bista Siddhim Medehi Om Fat Sva. Om Krim Hum Hrim Balaka Kaliati Abhyute Parakrama Abstita Siddhim Medehi Hum Fat Sva. Om Krim Hum Hrim Balaka Kaliati Abhyute Parakrama Abstita Siddhim Medehi Hum Fat Sva. Om Krim Hum Hrim Balaka Kaliati Abhyute Parakrama Abstita Siddhim Medehi Hum Fat Sva. Om Krim Hum Hrim Balaka Kaliati Abhyute Parakrama Abstita Siddhim Medehi Hum Fat Sva. Om Krim Hum Hrim Balaka Kaliati Abhyute Parakrama Abstita Siddhim Medehi Hum Fat Sva. Om Krim Hum Hrim Balaka Kaliati Abhyute Parakrama Abstita Siddhim Medehi Hum Fat Sva. Om Krim Hum Hrim Balaka Kaliati Abhyute Parakrama Abstita Siddhim Medehi Hum Fat Sva. Om Krim Hum Hrim Balaka Kaliati Abhyute Parakrama Abstita Siddhim Medehi Hum Fat Sva. Om Krim Hum Hrim Balaka Kaliati Abhyute Parakrama Abstita Siddhim Medehi Hum Fat Sva. Om Krim Hum Hrim Balaka Kaliati Abhyute Parakrama Abstita Siddhim Medehi Hum Fat Sva. Om Krim Hum Hrim Balaka Kaliati Abhyute Parakrama Abstita Siddhim Medehi Hum Fat Sva. Om Krim Hum Hrim Balaka Kaliati Abhyute Parakrama Abstita Siddhim Medehi Hum Fat Sva. Om Krim Hum Hrim Balaka Kaliati Abhyute Parakrama Abstita Siddhim Medehi Hum Fat Sva. Om Krim Hum Hrim Balaka Kaliati Abhyute Parakrama Abstita Siddhim Medehi Hum Fat Sva. Om Krim Hum Hrim Balaka Kaliati Abhyute Parakrama Abstita Siddhim Medehi Hum Fat Sva. Om Krim Hum Hrim Balaka Kaliati Abhyute Parakrama Abstita Siddhim Medehi Hum Fat Sva. Om Krim Hum Hrim Balaka Kaliati Abhyute Parakrama Abstita Siddhim Medehi Hum Fat Sva. Om Hrim Krim Hum Hrim Balaka Kaliati Abhyute Parakrama Abstita Siddhim Medehi Hum Fat Sva. Om Krim Hum Hrim Balaka Kaliati Abhyute Parakrama Abstita Siddhim Medehi Hum Fat Sva. Om Krim Hum Hrim Balaka Kali Ati Abhyute Parakrama Abstita Siddhim Medehi Hum Fat Sva. Om Krim Hum Hrim Balaka Kaliati Abhyute Parakrama Abstita Siddhim Medehi Hum Fat Sva. Om Krim Hum Hrim Balaka Kaliati Abhyute Parakrama Abstita Siddhim Medehi Hum Fat Sva. Om Krim Hum Hrim Balaka Kaliati Abhyute Parakrama Abstita Siddhim Medehi Hum Fat Sva. Om Krim Hum Hrim Balaka Kaliati Abhyute Parakrama Abstita Siddhim Medehi Hum Fat Sva. Om Krim Hum Hrim Balaka Kaliati Abhyute Parakrama Abstita Siddhim Medehi Hum Fat Sva. There's drumming and dancing in the background. I invite you to continue meditating in stillness and silence, just absorbing the power of the mantra and the power of Ma Kali Balaka. Feel those energies cleansing and healing you and those closest to you. I invite you to slowly open your eyes and continue meditating quietly on the fire. Imagine those things disharmonious in your life going into the fire as an offering and returning to you in the heat and in the light. Feel the energies of balance and harmony and peace. Jema.
Jema.
Jema. Jema. Jema. Om Sava Mangala Mangalye Shiva Savada Sadake Sadanye Trambake Devi Naryane Namostute Om Shanti 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 Om Sanavavatu 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 Saviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu Mavidvijavahai Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Pardon on that. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Tat Sat Om. Jai Ganesha. Jai Guru. Om Namah Shivaya. Jai Ma Kali. Jai Ma Devi. Jai Ma Balaka. Jai Mata Di. Jai Mata Di. Jai Mata Di. Jai Ma. Jai Ma. Jai Ma. And namaste. And thank you so very much for joining me. Deborah, thanks for coming.
Namaste.
Namaste. Have a wonderful night, and look forward to seeing you on Tuesday for our discussion on the next Yoga Upanishad. Jai Ma. Blessings always.